Good morning, everybody. It's your bro, Super Bro Zulfi, and today it is indeed a good morning because my school district issued a 2 hour delay this morning because we were dealing with a storm last night, and it's going to take a little bit longer for families of students and teachers to make that commute out to work. So I am thankful this morning for that. And I have the extra time this morning to sit down and make a video, and that's what I'm doing. And our topic though for today is not so good, even though I am having a good morning. I got my coffee. The topic, you guys can tell by the title, is the decline of physical media, or the death of physical media. And because I'm a gamer, I'm mainly going to be talking about video games and how it's sad that now we're kind of living in a more digital age. And I know other people have different opinions about this as well, but I'm coming to you with my own personal opinions. So if your opinions differ, by all means, disagree with me. But I will always be a physical video game guy. I grew up with physical games. I absolutely love physical games. I am here to defend physical games until the very end. But it is sad to see the lack of physical games in our current times. I recently made a vlog where I went to Target and I was looking at Nintendo and Mario things. In one section of that vlog, I walked past the Nintendo Switch section, and it's so sad. There's so many areas of that section that are just empty. No games. And then not just the games, but the accessories too. I walked past the accessories. There's only a few accessories. It looks like a barren wasteland. And video game sections never used to look like this. Back when I was a kid, going to Walmart, going to Sears. Does anybody remember Sears? It used to be packed. Every single, space was taken with a game or an accessory. There was so much to look at, so much joy. And now it's just sad. Like, I don't even like walking into the Nintendo Switch section. Even though I go there every single time I go to Target just to see what's new, it's depressing every single time I go there. And it's not just Target. News came out recently that Best Buy is going to be stopping. They're going to stop having physical media as well. They're not going to be carrying Blu-rays and DVDs anymore. And I think they might also not carry games as well in the future. But that's something that's being dished out across the board. And it's because a lot of people just aren't buying physical games like they used to because of the convenience of digital games. And it makes sense. You don't have to leave your house. You don't have to leave the comfort of your house to go to a store to buy the game. You could just download it. A lot of games nowadays you can even pre-install and download and have ready to go. And as soon as it hits midnight, the game is available to play. So people are just not buying physical games like they used to. And digital games didn't exist back in the day, like in the 90s, right? So a lot of old school gamers were just used to physical games. People that played games in the 90s, that's just how it was. And I think this newer generation is just used to buying more digital stuff, right? Because they're used to iPhones and iPads and mobile gaming as well, where there is no physical game. You're just going to the app store, you're downloading the game. And they feel like that's something that they can do with every single game. So they do that. And it makes sense. And there's even people my age or even older than me that do like the digital age because it's convenient, it's easy for them. But for me, there's magic in physical games. You did see me put my arm here earlier, but my favorite game of all time is right here. Super Mario Galaxy. But I just absolutely love being able to physically hold a game. To be like, I own this game, I paid money for it. I can use this as a physical prop in a video where you can't do something as simple as this with a digital game. But there was just so much magic back in the day when it came to getting a video game, which I feel like we've lost. Being a kid, going to the store, picking out a game, and then on the car ride home, you have this physical game in your hand. You're looking at the cover of it. You're looking at the back. And if you're impatient, you take the wrap off, you open it up, and you look inside. And something that games used to come with was manuals. We would get pamphlets and manuals, the game disc, right? This was an experience back in the day. Magic is what I call it. And sadly, as time has gone on, it's been getting worse and worse. I'm thankful that the Nintendo Switch still has physical games, but if we look inside, you'll notice I got the wrong game in here. I got Mario Kart 8 in here because I've been playing Super Mario RPG. But yeah, look. I don't know if you can see it. Let me hold it up like this. There's a reflection. But yeah, there's an area here, over here, for a manual, but most games don't even come with the manuals anymore. They just come with the little game, and that's it. Like, the experience just isn't the same. We're missing pamphlets. But I am thankful that we still can buy a game physically. There's still a cartridge I could physically put into my Nintendo Switch. But moving forward with the Switch 2 or whatever the next console is, are we going to be seeing less and less physical games being made? There's also a thing where they sell boxes for the game, but they don't actually have a physical cartridge inside. There's a download code inside the box, which is so strange to me. I'm thankful that they're putting out boxes for people that want to get like a physical box to be like, hey, I own this. But if a game doesn't have a physical copy, it's just like, why go through the effort of making a box? I guess it is to fill in that need, but it's like, just make a physical game. Don't make the game digital, just digital exclusive. And I know there's costs that come with the physical game, right? Companies want to get rid of physical games because it costs money to make physical games. It's a lot cheaper, and they'll save a lot of money if everything was just digital, right? But come on. I feel like kids are just growing up in a different time. And the thing is, like, I'm nostalgic for it, but not everybody is. So I can't say, hey, the kids of this era are going to have a worse childhood than me. Because everybody, right, whoever you are, whatever time you grew up, you're always going to say that your childhood was the perfect time to grow up. The kids growing up nowadays playing Minecraft or Fortnite, they're going to be like, I grew up in the perfect time. Just like I'm saying I grew up in the perfect time. And people before me said they grew up in the perfect time. So everybody's biased based on the time that they are born. So that's not really an argument I can make. But I can say that I will miss physical games greatly because there's a lot of benefits to physical games. For example, if I'm done with the game, right, and I know I'm never going to play it again, not that I'm saying I'm never going to play this game again, but you can sell it. You could be like, you know, here, can I get some money for this? Go to the game store, trade it in, sell it on eBay. You can get some value back, right? It's almost like you rented the game for a bit, right? You bought the game thinking that, hey, you might keep it, right? But if you change your mind, you could be like, no, I bought it for 60, I'm gonna sell it, get maybe like 40 back, and then put that 40 towards a new game, right? You have that option with a physical game. You don't have that option with a digital game. Also, whatever happened to borrowing games? Borrowing games was such a staple growing up, especially as a kid. You don't have money, you don't have a job, right? You have to wait till birthdays, holidays, getting good grades in school to get a game, right? Games were special as a kid because they didn't come that often, right? Unless you were spoiled. But I remember borrowing games from my elementary school friends, from my middle school friends, from my high school friends. It was a staple to be able to just play more games. People don't borrow games anymore. And this is a topic I've discussed with my friend Alex, 6th of August as well. And he did bring it up. He was like, people just don't borrow games anymore. And the more I thought of it, the more I realized he's telling the truth. People don't really borrow games like that anymore. Maybe because there's less physical games around, or maybe because there's so much digital stuff around us. Like, everybody has an iPhone, everybody has tablets, everybody could just download their own stuff. Maybe there's not that need to borrow games anymore. But it's a little sad. It makes me sad. And I still wanna be able to have people borrow my games, or be able to borrow games from people, right? I'm actually planning on letting my friend borrow this upcoming weekend because she wants to try it out. And I was like, yeah, once I'm done with it, I'll let you borrow it. So that's going to be a great feeling, allowing her to play this game without her having to buy it. And then she could test it out, try it. If she doesn't like it, there's nothing bad, right? Nothing bad that happened because she didn't lose any money, right? And then eventually I'm just going to get the game back after she's done playing with it. And then if I'm ever done with this game fully and don't want it anymore and I need some extra cash, I can sell it. So that's the two beauties of having a physical game. You can sell it when you're done with it, or you can let other people borrow it and try it out for free. And that's something that I feel like as we move forward into the future, we're not going to be seeing as much anymore. And as an old school 90s kid growing up in the early 2000s, that just makes me a little bit sad. One last thing that I do want to look at real quick. Oh, let me close out these notifications. I did pull up an article on esports.net. I'm going to quickly share my screen. There we go. So it's called Digital Revolution, Are Physical Games Dying Out? I skimmed through it a little bit, but we're going to read it together here. Just to get a better idea of the situation at hand. So this came out December 24th, 2023, right, the day right before Christmas. So it says, are physical games dying out? A couple of months ago, news surfaced confirming that Best Buy in the United States plans to stop selling physical media as early as the end of Q1 2024. Following that news, a claim appeared suggesting that Walmart is planning to follow in those footsteps, eradicating physical Xbox games and making further cuts through 2024. I don't want to fire some shots, but Xbox games are probably the worst selling games in general. They probably sell less than PlayStation and Nintendo for sure, so that makes sense. I ain't gonna blame Walmart for cutting Xbox games. In the United Kingdom, supermarkets have slashed their representation of physical games, and even the nation's high street gaming store has all but disappeared. So are physical games dying? In the data, we see a clear trend. Physical game sales are declining. It was claimed at the start of this year that as much as 90% of all game sales made through 2022 were digital. That is crazy to think about. 90%, 9 out of 10 people are buying digital games over physical games. There's only 1 person out of every 10 that's still buying physical games. That is insane. But mobiles gaming is included in that figure. Yeah, that makes sense because there's so much mobile gaming happening nowadays. Ubisoft has spoken out about the trend, suggesting that there will always be a market for physical games, no matter how small that market becomes. That's true, because I will always be part of that market. So Ubisoft, you're right. I don't know why I said Ubisoft. It's Ubisoft, right? Ubisoft. But the data is tangible, and physical games seem to be dying out over time. That is true. You could clearly see that if you go to any major retailer, go to their gaming section, you'll see it's vastly different from how it was years ago. All right, let's keep going. There's a revolution rolling out as we speak. It's seeing a shutdown of physical games take place around the world. Typically digital and cloud-based services like PS Now, Game Pass, GeForce. That's another thing. Those are like streaming services like Game Pass, right? They're reporting consistent growth. The bang for the buck with these services can't be argued against. And I know that's true. They're amazing deals. I know because my friend Alex, 6th of August again, preaches about Game Pass all the time. What, it's like 10, 15 bucks to get access to like over 100 something games. By contrast, we're seeing an almost resolute withdrawal of physical collector's editions, midnight launch events, and even representation of physical products in stores and world over. That's 100% true. The hype is dying. Game releases used to be surrounded with so much hype. right? It was an experience going to the store, lining up, waiting for the game to come out. And now you just don't see it. And it's been happening for years. It's been declining for years. Recently, I went to the store to buy Super Mario Bros. Wonder. I went to the store to buy Super Mario RPG. I went to the store to buy WarioWare Move It. And for all three of those games, it just didn't really feel like there was any hype surrounding it. Even Tears of the Kingdom. I know some places did midnight releases and stuff like that, but even when I went to go buy Tears of the Kingdom, there was a lack of hype surrounding it, I feel like. It didn't feel like an event, even though I vlogged the experience, right, of getting some of those games, because I want to turn it into an experience and a memory for me to look back at in the future. But not as great as it used to be. There are all digital PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series consoles. Yep, that's another thing. There are consoles that PlayStation and Xbox have made that don't even play physical games. So if you buy one of those, you're stuck buying digital games. There are even rumors that suggest Nintendo is working on a cloud-based console. We're seeing an increase in the popularity of handheld consoles with devices like the Steam Deck, Lenovo Legion Go, and ROG Ally, experiencing positive receptions and strong sales figures. It was just weeks ago that news surfaced suggesting that Microsoft is continuing to work on its all-digital cloud console, Project Keystone. And do we need to mention the rise of mobile gaming, whether it's mobile esports or the fact that AAA games are making their way onto mobile devices? The most accessible, widespread form of gaming is on a constant uptick. It's estimated that there are more than 2.5 billion mobile gamers in the world today, and they're all digital players. That is insane. Yeah, people are seeing. I mean, like the companies are seeing the people and what they're buying. They're obviously going to tailor themselves to that market. Should physical games be abandoned? If physical games are abandoned overnight, a paradigm shift will take place in the gaming industry. There will be thousands upon thousands of layoffs the world over as manufacturing facilities, printing firms, factories, designers. Yeah, there's a lot of people that work on making physical games. They're going to be out of jobs. For the old school gamers, it's a crushing revelation. Personally, I predict that digital gaming will almost completely take over in the next few years. The physical box market will be restricted almost exclusively to secondhand sales, and that's crazy because that's just going to skyrocket the price, right? It's going to become like a status symbol to have a bunch of physical games because they just won't be available in any regular market. You have to go to like certain gaming stores or buy them online for a higher price than usual. That's why Sony is releasing a new PlayStation 5 model with an attachable disc drive. I think there are just too many advantages to digital gaming though. And then they list some advantages to digital gaming, like the games can't ever sell out. You could just take a quick look at that if you want to know some benefits for digital gaming. I'm not arguing with any of this stuff because there definitely are a lot of benefits to digital games, for sure. I'm just old school and like physical games more. I like physically holding something in my hands. It's a huge change from days gone by, but it's the way it's going to go. For the most part, the biggest esports games in the world are all available exclusively as digital downloads. Realistically, the market has already said its piece. It's sad. It's sad. For anyone that didn't know, it is sad. Thank you for this article for writing that. The young gamers breaking into the hobby as we speak won't get to appreciate the excitement of unwrapping a box game at Christmas, but everything moves on, right? Exactly. The magic. That's what I was talking about earlier. The magic of a physical game. Being able to physically open it, physically hold it. That will be gone. Kids will just be like, Mommy, Daddy, can you just use your credit card to buy this digitally for me on my system? But I said this earlier in the video too. kids are going to be nostalgic for their time period. They're going to miss out on physical games, but they'll be okay with it. Because, you know, they'll be thankful for what they have. And it's the same with us, right? I grew up in a time period, right, where their internet wasn't really a thing. It developed as I was a young kid. But people before me, right, they didn't have the internet at all. And they didn't come till much later, right? So it's, things come and things go. And that's just what this is. It's going to be very interesting to see how the landscape changes in the coming years. All right, let's switch on back. But the article, that was the article in its entirety. Esports.net. All right, let's switch back to just chatting. All right, guys, I just wanted to get that out there. My thoughts and opinions on this matter. I am sad, but I'm going to value physical games for as long as I can. Until I can't buy physical games anymore, I will keep buying physical games, right? So as of right now, the Switch, we still got physical games coming out, right? Every chance I get to buy a physical game, I will take it. I will buy a physical game. Next console comes out, they got physical games, I'm there. I'm buying physical games until I can't anymore. And I'm thankful that I've also started collecting my Nintendo Wii collection as of last year. And I might get into collecting more games, more physical games, because I think it's fun and there is magic there. And it'd be nice to have a library of physical games in the future. You know, like after I retire in the future, walking into a room with shelves filled with physical games, there's magic there. And imagine walking into a room and there's just a PC, and the PC has everything on there, or a console, and the console has all the games on there in the future. That's sad. There's so many awesome game room tours on YouTube that I watch on a regular basis. Videos like that of people having rooms full of physical games. It won't be a thing in the future because they'll just have a computer and a console at a desk and no actual physical games around them because everything is stored on those devices. Yeah, it's different. But yeah, I want to know what you guys think about this matter. Are you guys with me? Do you guys agree with me? Are you guys fans of physical games and would love to see more physical games in the future, even though the market is becoming smaller and smaller for physical games? Or do you disagree with me and you prefer digital games? Let me know in the comments. I'm interested in hearing what you guys have to say about this topic. And remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed this content. And it's been your bro, Super Bro Zulfi. And I'll see you guys all in the next one. Peace.